on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
Good afternoon. It's Wednesday, January 14, 2026. INEC continuous voters registration is on. Use the opportunity to register to vote. On the news this afternoon, I beg your pardon. President Tinubu charges armed forces to remain loyal and disciplined. Former IPAC chairman Peter Ame calls APC support for Governor Fubara artificial. Former Ekiti State Governor questions Governor Fubara's leadership in APC. On the foreign scene, Donald Trump vows strong actions against Iran. And in sports, Nigeria's Super Eagles ready to face Morocco in AFCON semi-final. I'm Ifechukwu Muonyili with the news. Now, President Bola Tinubu has charged the Nigerian armed forces to remain steadfast in discipline, loyalty, and unity, describing them as symbols of national strength and guardians of Nigeria's democracy. He gave the charge at the 2026 Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day Gala and Award Night in Abuja. Represented by the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, the President reaffirmed his administration's commitment to troop welfare, promising improved equipment, enhanced training, and better living conditions for personnel. Tinubu paid tribute to fallen heroes and commended serving officers for their courage and recent operational successes, while also recognizing the sacrifices of military families. He also announced the approval of the Thank a Soldier electronic wall and the My Nigeria Hero campaign to honor service personnel and veterans nationwide. But still talking security, the Nigeria Police Force says it has information on the recent U.S. strikes against terrorists in Sokoto, but will not make the details public. Police spokesperson Benjamin Hundeyin says the operation remains a defense matter and should be addressed by the military. Despite confirming cooperation among security agencies, the U.S. carried out the strike on December 25, 2025, killing what it described as multiple ISIS terrorists in an operation approved by President Bola Tinubu. The federal government says the action was a joint effort with U.S. authorities and insists it was not targeted at any religion, despite comments by U.S. President Donald Trump linking the strikes to attacks on Christians. Meanwhile, the United States has delivered military supplies to Nigerian security agencies to support ongoing operations across the country. The United States Africa Command announced the delivery in a post on X on Tuesday. The federal government had earlier disclosed that the U.S. is prepared to deepen security cooperation with Nigeria through increased intelligence sharing, defense equipment, and other resources to combat terrorism and violent extremism. Back here in Port Harcourt, a security analyst, Dr. F.A. Wanogo, warns security agencies, especially the police, to look beyond prima facie evidence when investigating cases, particularly those involving deaths. He made the call while speaking with correspondent Mekotoka following the death of 6 members of a family on Sunday in Aleto, Elemeluku government area. The police had earlier said preliminary findings suggest generator fumes may have caused the death. Dr. Wanogo warns that many criminals escape justice because investigations often rely on evidence that only appears sufficient and can easily be manipulated. He says the mere presence of a generator in an apartment is not enough proof that it caused the death.
We are usually in a haste in this part of the world to arrive at conclusions. The presence of generator in that particular apartment is not enough evidence that was the cause death. Do you understand? It could actually be placed there on a second thought or in order to also deceive the investigating officers. So clearly, a thorough and forensic investigation will have to have been conducted. Apart from the autopsy, which of course should be part of the process, we should determine that A may have died from a separate incident.
Now, he adds that determining the true cause of death requires a proper autopsy alongside a thorough review of other factors, including recent visitors and last phone conversations before conclusions are drawn.
It's expected that other factors will have to be taken into account. The generator, of course, will be taken into evidence, and then other factors that are possible cause of death must be taken into account. A proper investigation as to the visitors to that particular household, phone call logs, who were the last people to have been there, cause either coming in or going out, and also a proper autopsy to determine the cause of death.
Let's now talk politics. A former national chairman of the Inter-Party Advisory Council, Peter Ame, says the show of support by the All Progressives Congress for Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara is artificial and driven by selfish interests. Speaking on Nigerian Info FM's Hard Fact in Lagos, Ame says the APC has a constitutional responsibility to initiate a proper disciplinary process to address disputes among political factions in the state and find a lasting solution to the crisis.
Fubara just joined the party, so the kind of love that they are showing to him is on artificial ground, just for selfish reasons. The party has a constitutional responsibility to make sure that a disciplinary procedure is established or a peace committee is established to be able to look at the issues of the warring factions and then discuss with them properly and say, look, this is giving our party bad image. And then for weekend, you have said you are going to work for the President Tinubu's interest. If you continue with this crisis, are you not putting the president and the party in bad light? This committee will meet with these people, look at the white paper report, and look at how to implement it.
Ame also adds that there are commercial interests behind the crisis, warning that this will undermine governance in the state. He argues that funds meant for development and citizens' welfare could end up being used for political maneuvering and the satisfaction of entrenched interests.
But for you see that the national secretary openly jabbing Wike so that the governor can be happy. There's a commercial interest in this whole thing, and this commercial interest will further undermine the collective essence of governance that is supposed to prosper and give development to the citizens of the state who are supposed to be enjoying the FAC allocation that comes to the covers of the river state that is supposed to be used for their benefit, will now be mostly used to play politics and keep entrenched interest happy.
While the former IPAC chairman further claims that the rift between the governor and members of the State House of Assembly is largely financially motivated, he alleges that lawmakers are unhappy because the governor is restricting their access to state resources, suggesting that Governor Fubara's move is aimed at weakening opposition and consolidating support ahead of the 2027 general elections. In a related story, the Inter-Party Advisory Council is rejecting claims by the FCT Minister from Wike that political parties in Rivers State will unite to support President Bola Tinubu's 2027 re-election. In a statement issued in Abuja on Tuesday, IPAC's National Publicity Secretary, Ebola Martins, describes the claim as false and misleading. He says the former Rivers State governor has no authority to speak for political parties, which remain independent and guided by their constitutions, structures, and internal democratic processes. The council insists that decisions on alliances, coalitions, or endorsement can only come from the official organs of each party and warns against attempts to appropriate party support for personal political interests. But still staying with politics, former Ekiti State Governor Ayo Fayose has questioned Governor Siminalayi Fubara's claim of political leadership in Rivers State, faulting his declaration as 001 in the APC membership register. Speaking on Arise Television, Fayose argues that holding executive office does not automatically confer party leadership, drawing a parallel with Lagos State, where he insists President Bola Tinubu remains the political leader, not Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. Fayose also says President Tinubu will not sacrifice the minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, for Governor Fubara amid the lingering political crisis in Rivers State. His comments triggered pushback from APC figures in the state, including factional chairman Emeka Bike and civil society advocate Chizi Enyi, who insist Fubara remains the leader of the APC in Rivers State. Well, turning to union matters now, the Rivers State branch of the Association of Senior Civil Servants of Nigeria has confirmed Dr. Udoka Josiah as the Rivers State chairman of the Trade Union Congress. In a communique read by the State Secretary June Danagogo, the civil servants reject what they describe as an imposed leadership. They say they do not recognize the October State Delegate Congress, which they claim produced Samuel Organ and others from the private sector as representatives of Rivers State civil servants. The association is urging Governor Siminalayi Fubara and heads of ministries, departments, and agencies not to engage with the organ-led leadership on issues affecting public servants in the state. They also demand that the organ-led group vacate The TUC Secretariat in Port Harcourt insisting that all negotiations and engagement with the state government should be conducted only through the Dr. Josiah-led executive. Now, reacting, Samuel Organ is urging members of the Association of Senior Civil Servants of Nigeria to take steps to withdraw from the Trade Union Congress in Rivers State. He is also challenging them to present evidence that the national executive of the TUC participated in the election that produced Udoka Josiah as chairman. Well, still to come, we'll tell you how excited the Rivers State government is after a donation of ambulances to the state government by HyPrep. Details coming up shortly. Is donated by HyPrep. The handover took place at the Nshia General Hospital in Eleme. Dr. Ore says the donation reflects its commitment to building resilient health systems beyond just equipping facilities. The commissioner assured of continued collaboration between the state government and HyPrep, noting that the partnership will strengthen public health initiatives in Ogoni communities and across River State.
HyPrep's focus on supporting the health sector goes beyond equipping and furnishing of health facilities to building responsive and resilient systems through effective and efficient transfers that build our referral pathways and ensure the transfer of patients from places where they are to where they can receive the specialized medical care that is available. Thank you, HyPrep.
Earlier, the HyPrep project coordinator, Professor Neni Barinizabi, took the Commissioner for Health on a tour of the Buan Cottage Hospital currently under construction by the project. Dr. Ore expressed satisfaction with HyPrep's commitment to improving healthcare delivery, saying the facility will help save lives, particularly among vulnerable populations, and improve the well-being of residents.
From the River State Ministry of Health, we're very pleased to have been taken on this tour. We've gone around the 43-bed facility and ongoing project, seen ample spaces that will be catering to pregnant women, nursing mothers, young children, the elderly, right here in Ogoni land. And it is very reassuring to see this level of thought and interventions in the healthcare space. HyPrep has demonstrated commitment towards strengthening healthcare delivery in Ogoni land, and the River State Ministry of Health is glad to be part of that process.
On his part, the HyPrep coordinator, Professor Neni Barinizabi, outlined other ongoing health projects across Ogoni land.
This is a modern cottage hospital. It is energy efficient, it is spacious, it has all that is necessary to support the healthcare of the Ogoni people and the general public. Of course, we are not only building this hospital support, and we are also research, actually with the International Agency for Research on Cancer of the World Health Organization. And at the same time, we are strengthening other hospitals in Ogoni.
Moving on to Eche local government area, the chairman, Chima Boniface Njoko, says he is satisfied with the quality and pace of work on the new chairman's office and lodge block at Okehi within the council secretariat. The project, executed through direct labor in the second week of December 2025, has now reached the decking stage. Njoko made the remarks during an unscheduled inspection of ongoing projects at the Secretariat, where he commended the civil engineering team for what he describes as heartwarming progress and workmanship. He says the project is expected to be completed by March 2026.
Can you give us special office of the executive chairman? So if you are coming to see chairman, you are coming to see chairman. If you are coming as a civil servant, you go there. That's okay. In case I will have visitor or my predecessors will have visitor, can you make up 4-bedroom apartment that in case after 3 years or 6 years I will go, my successor I can plead with if I have emergency visitors that will prompt me to say where can I lodge them. I can be able to apply, call and beg, let them use this. And I promise my brother, can you put the solar? And he told me by March to hand over this key to me, and I'm impressed.
On his part, the project engineer Obinna Agubolom says the project, when completed, would comprise chairman's office on the first floor, offices for chairman's aides, and that of a 4-bedroom apartment that would serve as the lodge. He adds that the facility will also be fitted with a solar-powered electricity system to ensure uninterrupted power supply.
This project is just a month old. We are on the time frame. By March, this project will be commissioned. Where we are standing right now is the reception. For the purpose of convenience, the chairman's office is upstairs. The chairman's office have a back staircase that will take him up. Then the conference room is upstairs.
Well, the Eche Council boss, who was accompanied by the leader of the Eche 10th Legislative Council, Marshal Wangwa, also inspected the pharmacy section of the council shopping complex, the restaurant, as well as the core members' lodge and security building. And now we go straight to business. Nigeria and the United Arab Emirates have signed a comprehensive economic partnership agreement to boost trade, strengthen investment, and expand market access for exporters. The Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Jumoke Oduwole, says the agreement was signed in Abu Dhabi and will see the UAE remove tariffs on more than 7,000 Nigerian products, including agricultural and industrial goods. And she adds that the deal will also allow Nigerian businesses to establish operations in the UAE while easing travel and relocation rules for business visitors, managers, and specialists. Oduwole says the agreement is expected to drive industrialization, create jobs, and position Nigeria as a gateway for investment into Africa.
And now, we bring you news from around the world.
U.S. President Donald Trump says the United States will take very strong action against Iran if it proceeds with the execution of protesters after earlier telling Iranians that help is on the way. The warning comes as the family of 26-year-old detainee Irfan Soltani says he is due to be executed, with riot groups expressing fears that many similar cases exist. A U.S.-based human rights group says more than 2,400 anti-government protesters have been killed in Iran's violent crackdown. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi says the country will defend itself against what he describes as foreign interference as an internet blackout continues to limit independent verification of events. And now in sports, Super Eagles coach Eric Shelley says there is no cause for concern over the absence of Captain Wilfred Ndidi as Nigeria faced Morocco in the AFCON semi-final in Rabat. Ndidi is suspended after picking up his second yellow card of the tournament and was also substituted in the quarter-final against Algeria with a hamstring injury. Charlie admits he will miss the midfielder but insists that the squad has quality options ready to step in. Ndidi has anchored Nigeria's midfield throughout the competition with players like Raphael Onyedika and Frank Onyeka available as replacement. Both Nigeria and Morocco head into the clash unbeaten, with the encounter marking their first AFCON meeting in 22 years. Well, that's the news. But before we go, let's have a look at the headlines once again. We reported that President has asked the armed forces to be steadfast in discipline, unity, and loyalty to the country. We told you how a former IPAC chairman, Peter Ame, called APC support for Governor Fubara artificial. You also heard a former Ekiti State Governor Ifechukwu questioning Governor Similai Fubara's leadership in the APC. The news was edited by Ufoma Ebamono. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808-721-7215. I'm Ifechukwu Muonyili. Many thanks for listening.